Hello, Nicky.
Hello, Emilie.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too. Enchanté.
Enchanté. Welcome to Réunion Island.
Merci.
So I've got the first question. Who is Nicky B today in few words?
I'm Nicky B, and I always say I was born an artist. I was born an artist. By my nature, I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, and I am a DJ, and I'm blessed to have a radio program for nearly 28 years where I play music. My slogan is, I play music that deserves to be heard. So most of the radios play the mainstream music. I play all the rest of this beautiful music. Yes, in all different genres. Yes.
And you are known as one of the most awarded female DJs in South Africa. How did your journey start?
Well, I'm proud to say that I was definitely the first female DJ in South Africa. I started DJing 35 years ago when the DJ culture was just starting. There weren't DJs, it was all live music. So I grew up in a medical family, but a family of people who loved music. And my father loved classical music and opera and avant-garde, and my mother loved jazz. And I grew up in apartheid South Africa, and I'm a white woman. So I also grew up with a nanny. Does that make sense? A Zulu woman. So she too taught me Zulu music. Yes. So my influences are very diverse. And then in my background, I studied fine art, and my passion was public art. So in the early 90s, I painted murals and sculptures across the world. But in the meanwhile, I liked music, I collected music, and I used to go to parties and take a mixtape, put the mixtape in, and everybody would dance. And then I started working also as a DJ, and that's when I got the job on radio.
Okay. How has South Africa's musical diversity shaped your sound and your sets?
Very much. And after working with music from around the world, I play music from all the countries. But I can, today, 28 years of being on air and having a show, I am so proud to have a platform to share the incredible music that comes out of South Africa in all the genres. I believe we have some of the best contemporary jazz. And it's not mainstream jazz, it's jazz with a South African soul. But the quality is so high. The quality of electronic music in South Africa is so high. The house music, the amapiano is now taking the world by storm. So for me, to come from a country with such a rich musical legacy and to have the platform is an honor.
Okay. As a woman in a male-dominated space, what drives you to keep pushing boundaries?
It is very much a male industry. So it isn't easy. And if I'm honest, also I'm a white woman. So it's in South Africa, that's also certain challenges one would face. But I think when you are passionate and committed, and if you keep working hard, you will get the opportunities, and that is the main thing. Obviously, with the industry, it can be very hard. 30 more years of working in this industry, it's not easy. But when I want to give up, there's two things I think about. I think about Miriam Makeba, because she had such an interesting but really difficult life. and she never gave up. So when I want to give up, I think of Mama Africa, and I think if she didn't give up, I'm not going to give up. And the other thing that keeps me going is when I hear beautiful music, I think, if I'm not going to play this, who's going to play this? In a commercial world of mainstream music, who's going to play this music? I better keep going so I can play the music. Yeah.
So, how would you describe the energy you want to create on the dance floor?
I'm not commercial, so I don't hook people with commercial sounds, if you like. But that being said, whenever I play live, I have one aim, and that is to make people happy. So when I'm playing a set, my aim is to make everybody who's there, whether it's one person or 10,000 people, my aim is to make people happy.
What connects African rhythm to the rest of the world beyond the beat?
Well, beyond the beat, there's also melodies and harmonies. But I'm a little bit biased, being African, growing up in Africa, because I believe the root of all great music is in Africa. So for me, that's the driving force. And most of the musics I play, yes, there are other musical styles, but for me, the original music comes from Africa. And I also believe that our breath is our melody, and our heart is our drum. So we are music.
Okay. What part of your heritage do you consciously bring into your music?
For me, I play global music, and I play music of all different genres, from traditional music to funk, to jazz, to house music, amapiano, kwaito, Brazilian music, Cuban music, Japanese music. I play all of it. I play music, as I said, music that deserves to be heard. From my heritage, I think, as I explained, I grew up with these different influences of my father. Introduced me, I'm not sure if you know people like Andreas Vollenweider. My father introduced me to that, classical music, opera. My mother loved the American jazz vocalists. She loved Brazilian music, and she loved South African music. And even though they were medical people, and the rest of my family is medical, from a very young age, my mother used to take me to jazz clubs. And I remember listening to some of the greatest South African musicians because of my mother taking me there. So I think that's in my blood. And the traditional from my nanny, the woman who was my other mother, as I say, the traditional Zulu guitars and the African side of music. So really it is global, and those are my influences.
Okay. What does playing at a festival like Sakifo mean to you?
I love to play. 35 years of DJing, and I love to play. And even being on air every Sunday after 28 years, I'm a little bit nervous. And the day that I'm not nervous is the day I must stop. But I love to play at small, intimate venues. I love to play. I love to play, as I said, for 10 people or 20,000 people. But what I really appreciate about festivals is the big sound, the big stage, the big audience. And because of that, I play different to the way I would play in an intimate venue. It allows me to play the bigger beats, the louder sounds, because of the festival environment. Yes, and obviously it's also a great, I really appreciate playing on global stages, international stages. That's important too. Yes.
Okay. The last question for
Yes.
you, Nicky. If you had to describe your sound just in one word, what would it be?
Afro global.
Yes.
It's global music with an African soul. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes.